Many companies and businesses in the UK are finding it increasingly difficult to identify and recruit the skills, talent, and experience their businesses need within the UK labour force. They are therefore looking to fill this skill and experience gap by recruiting migrant skilled workers from outside of the UK. To be able to recruit and employ a person who isn't a settled worker or who doesn't otherwise have immigration permission to work in the UK, you'll need to be authorised by the Home Office. In other words, you'd need to apply for and obtain a sponsor licence. Hello, my name is Yashar Doğan. I am a solicitor advocate at Redstone Solicitors, specialising in UK immigration and nationality law. In this video, we'll look at how you can obtain a sponsor licence for your business. We have another video in which we discuss what you need to do in order to keep your sponsor licence. Do I need a sponsor licence? A sponsor licence is simply a formal permission granted to a UK business to employ migrant workers in the UK. Therefore, subject to certain limited exceptions, if you'd like to recruit and employ a migrant worker in the UK, you'll need a sponsor licence. Who can I employ without needing a sponsor licence? You don't need a sponsor licence to employ British citizens, Irish citizens, persons who've been granted settled or pre-settled status under the EU settlement scheme, persons who have indefinite leave to enter or indefinite leave to remain in the UK, and people who have permission to live and work under another visa type, such as a spouse visa or a long-term student visa. Save for a few other limited exceptions, you'll need a sponsor licence to employ almost any other migrant worker, including EU citizens who haven't arrived and started to live in the UK before the 31st of December 2020. Can I employ any type of migrant worker under a single type of sponsor licence? No, there are a number of different types of sponsor licence. These include separate sponsor licenses to employ skilled workers, UK expansion workers, global mobility workers, scale-up workers, creative workers, etc. It's possible to have one of these licenses or all of the ones you need and whose conditions your business meets. I own a small café business. Can I apply for a sponsor license? Businesses of all sizes and all sectors are able to apply for and obtain a sponsor license so long as they can meet the business eligibility and job suitability requirements for their intended type of sponsor license. What are the requirements my business needs to meet to be eligible for a sponsor license? There are certain general requirements and route-specific requirements. The general requirements apply to all categories of sponsor license. These are: 1. Your business must be a genuine organisation operating lawfully in the UK. Please note that this requirement is slightly different for the UK expansion worker route. 2. You must be honest, dependable, reliable, and haven't engaged in behaviour or actions that aren't conducive to the public good. 3. You must be capable of carrying out your sponsor duties and evidencing your compliance in a time frame and manner as set out in the relevant Home Office guidance. It's usually easy and straightforward to prove your business is a genuine organisation operating lawfully in the UK. This is done by providing certain documents about your business, such as proof of its registration for PAYE and VAT purposes, its employer's liability insurance, and latest business bank statement. In assessing whether you are honest, dependable, reliable, and haven't engaged in behaviour or actions that aren't conducive to the public good, the Home Office will look at the history and background of yourselves, your business, the people involved in the day-to-day running of your business, and the key personnel named in your application for a sponsor licence. For example, the Home Office will look at whether the business or anyone involved in its management, including the key personnel, has an outstanding civil penalty for employing illegal workers, is legally prohibited from being a company director, has an unspent criminal conviction for a relevant crime, is subject to bankruptcy restrictions, etc. Most businesses don't have difficulty meeting this requirement too. The main requirement where a lot of businesses require additional preparation and improvement is the third requirement of being capable of carrying out your sponsor duties and evidencing your compliance in a time frame and manner as set out in the relevant Home Office guidance. In assessing whether you meet this requirement, the Home Office will check your current policies, procedures and systems relating to recruitment and human resources to see whether they are adequate to enable you to fulfill your sponsor duties. It's essential to meet these requirements to be able to obtain and then keep your sponsor license. These were the general requirements. Let's now turn to the route-specific requirements. The route-specific requirements vary according to the type of sponsor license you seek to apply for. Those relating to the skilled worker route are: you must be able to offer employment that's genuine and meets the salary and the skill level requirements for the skilled worker route. There must also be a direct employer-employee relationship between your business and the worker. The route-specific requirements relating to the UK expansion worker route are these. 1. You must be able to offer employment that's genuine and meets the salary and skill level requirements for the UK expansion worker route. 2. There must be a direct employer-employee relationship between your business and the worker. 3. Your business mustn't be actively trading in the UK, but it must have a UK footprint. 4. Your overseas business that would like to expand to the UK must be active and trading overseas and must have been active and trading for at least 3 years. 5. You must genuinely intend and your business must be able to expand to the UK to establish a UK trading presence within a period of 2 years. 6. The branch you'd like to establish in the UK must be in the same business sector as that your overseas business conducts. 7. Your expansion entity in the UK must either be a wholly owned subsidiary or a branch of your overseas business. 8. You must be able to demonstrate that you have funds available to cover the initial costs for the first 12 months as projected in your expansion plan. There are also varying route-specific requirements for a sponsor license relating to workers in other categories such as the Global Mobility Senior or Specialist Worker, Scale-Up Worker and Creative Worker. What key personnel would I need to appoint in relation to my business's sponsor license? Before you submit your application for a sponsor license, you need to identify and appoint certain key personnel. Your business must have an authorizing officer who will have ultimate responsibility for the management of your sponsor license and for ensuring that your sponsor duties are met. You'll also need to appoint a key contact to act as the main contact between the Home Office and your business and the Level 1 user to carry out the day-to-day sponsorship activities using the Sponsorship Management System, SMS. All of the key personnel roles can be filled by the same person or a combination of different people. The authorizing officer needs to be the most senior person in your organization responsible for the recruitment of all migrant workers, or if there isn't such a person, the most senior person responsible for the organization's activities as a licensed sponsor. Your legal representative can undertake the key contact role. Unless you're applying for a sponsor license for a UK expansion worker, each of your key personnel must be based in the UK for the period they'll fill the role, not have any unspent criminal convictions for a relevant offence, civil penalties or other adverse background, and they must be a paid member of staff or an office holder such as a company director or secretary. What documents do I need to submit with my application for a sponsor license? The documents you'll need to provide in support of your application depend on the circumstances of your business and the application. Generally speaking, you'll need to provide at least 4 mandatory documents showing your business is genuine and lawfully operating in the UK, such as proof of its registration for PAYE and VAT purposes, its employer's liability insurance, and the latest business bank statement. You'd also need to provide certain information about your business, the proposed job role you seek to fill, and why you need a sponsor license. In addition, the Home Office may require seeing some or all of your policies, procedures, and systems relating to recruitment and human resources to see whether they are adequate to enable you to fulfill your duties as a sponsor. How long does it take to obtain a sponsor license? Sponsor license applications typically take up to 8 weeks to be processed by the Home Office. There's a priority service that will reduce the processing time to 10 working days. At the time of recording this video, this service costs £500. How much does it cost to obtain a sponsor license? At the time of recording this video, the application fee paid to the Home Office for small companies and charities is £536 and it's £1,476 for medium or large companies. Of course, these fees are subject to change. If you use the services of a legal representative, you'll need to add their professional fees. How does the application process work? You'll need to apply for a sponsor license first by completing an application form, secondly paying the application fee, and finally, within 5 working days of submitting your application, sending all of your relevant supporting documents and information to the Home Office. As legal representatives, we can help you complete the application form, advise on the required supporting documents, and draft representations in support of your sponsor license application. However, as a legal requirement, the application must be submitted to the Home Office by yourselves. How long will my sponsor license be valid for? Your license usually stays valid as long as you continue to meet the eligibility requirements. If you have a license to sponsor scale-up workers or UK expansion workers, it will be valid for 4 years. You won't be able to apply for another license to sponsor these types of workers. Is there a right of appeal if my application is refused? There's no right of appeal if your application is refused, and depending on the reasons for the refusal, you could be banned from submitting a new application for a cooling off period of 6 or 12 months. If your application has been refused due to a caseworker error, you can ask for a review of your application, or you can make a fresh application. If the refusal is unlawful, unreasonable, or procedurally improper, you may consider applying for judicial review. It's very important that you prepare and submit your application properly, as the remedies we've just mentioned may be time-consuming and very costly. How can Redstone Solicitors help me obtain a sponsor license? As a firm of solicitors specializing in UK immigration and nationality law, we can help you assess whether your business's conditions meet the requirements for a sponsor license. If your business doesn't meet the requirements, we can help you with preparing your business for the process. For example, by identifying and preparing policies, procedures, and systems needed for compliance purposes. We can also help you identify and gather information and documents needed to make your sponsor license application. We can provide you or your appointed key personnel with advice, assistance, and representation in your business's sponsor license application process. We can also draft legal representations which can be submitted in support of your license application. We hope that this video has given you an overview of the sponsor license scheme, the requirements you need to satisfy to obtain one, and the application process. There will be further videos on this topic. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave comments below. Goodbye for now.